Welcome back to episode number 10.
Number 10.
A sad day, but uh, welcome to Let the Boys Watch, an entertainment podcast brought to you by Going Great Productions. I am one of your co-hosts. My name is Robbie. Alongside me is a man who was promised CEO at the Candy Kitchen in Bridgehampton at the age of number 7, cousin Benny.
How you doing?
And alongside us as well is a man who walks into every single holiday with his family and screams at everybody saying, I'm the eldest boy. One of our co-hosts, Ryan.
But I am the eldest boy, so it makes sense.
That's true.
Unlike some people who aren't the eldest boy. Shiv just saying, no, you aren't, was so funny. Yeah, well, welcome to Let the Boys Watch. And like Robbie said, an entertainment podcast. We are talking about season 4, episode 10, the series finale. Not the season finale, the series finale. We are wrapping up Succession, much to my partner's chagrin and much to my enjoyment.
So what do you say? Right. We want to give us one of your final plum ratings of Succession?
Sure, but first, they call that in the biz a tease. But first, I just want to tell you guys to make sure that you follow, rate, review, send us an email, ltbwpodcast@gmail.com. Is that correct?
That's it.
All right. And follow us on Instagram, Let the Boys Watch Pod. It's all in the show notes. I literally can't make it easier for you without coming to your house and doing it myself, which I'm not going to do, but I will if I have to. So
I'm not above it. I'll do it.
No, do it. Yeah. Listen, while you're there, maybe we can get a free sandwich, something, piece of cake, something like that. So, series finale, boys, final plum watch. I want your plum watches first, and then I will give you my plum watch. So, Robbie, what did you think about the series finale? Benny, maybe you should go first.
No, I got it. I got it.
I give that burp 10 out of 10.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
I got it now. He saw me burping and he called me anyway, but that was a long
I'm
one.
sorry. That was my fault.
I'm gonna have to give this a 9.1 on a plum watch.
Wow.
Was it my favorite series finale of all time? Time will tell. Not really at the moment, but yeah. Before I divulge into what I loved about the episode, I'm gonna give it a 9.1.
Love it. Benny, what about you?
I'm gonna go a little bit higher on this one. I'm gonna say for me it was like in context of the show, it's a 10. In
Wow.
real world plum rating, I'd say 9.7. It was really good. I think,
Good one.
I did the thing that I always say I don't like to do and get involved in theories and like make a prediction and then I went hard with it in my own head. And when I didn't get that, I think I was a little sour after the episode. But when I let it sink in and thought about it and got to this morning, I realized that everything that happened was the right call. And the acting was fantastic. I think they set you up for the ending and like how tragic the ending was with that scene in the kitchen. I just thought it was just a fantastic episode.
I think the same thing as you said. I think me being, I don't know, an idiot, I guess, I was expecting a happy ending. And, as the episode was going along, I did expect a happy ending, but it it, it was never gonna be, right? 4 years of this show, you saw how these kids acted and how their father acted and how cutthroat everybody was. And it's just real life. It's not a happy story or with a happy ending. So after I got past that, I had to sleep on it. And then I had a greater appreciation for the episode.
Yeah, I just think that they've been positioning it as a tragedy the whole time. So, but even I felt the same way. Like I wanted some type of happy ending, and they even fucking cut our boy Connor's legs out in the last possible second too,
I know.
very subtly. But if you were expecting a happy ending, you weren't paying attention.
Right. No, I agree. And I agree with how you both kind of split it up. Because for me, as a finale for Succession, I actually really liked it. I thought it was appropriate, especially, based on what both of you said, but especially Robbie. Like, you're saying, like, if you watch the last 4 years, these idiots don't deserve to succeed. Now, in real world, do they? Do idiots fail upward all the time? Yes, of course. But as an episode of television, mm, I thought I didn't love it. I thought they kind of were like, it's headed for a happy ending, and then you're like, wow, there's 20 minutes left. I know exactly what's gonna happen. They're gonna
Yeah.
fuck Kendall, or something's gonna get fucked up, or whatever. So I don't know. As an episode of television, I'd say 7.1 in that realm. Uh, as a finale to Succession, I'd say a little higher, like maybe 8.5. Like they wrapped it up like pretty good. Um,
Yeah.
so, and coming from me, that must mean something, because I'm the resident hater on this podcast.
Well, I won't even say in the context of hating. It's like, you mentioned a few times that your scale is depressed. Like
Yeah,
if you're getting into those nines in the upper nines, like you've done something like incredible. That's
yeah,
just never going to be surpassed. So no, 8.5. Like I said, I mean, for me, in the context of the show, I don't think anything else could have happened that didn't fit. Like, even
right.
maybe there were a couple of loose ends, and we'll get into it with Kendall killing the kid story, but even that, even though it wasn't like this big reveal, it still had a role to play, so
Right.
they left the Mencken thing a little bit open-ended, but even then you got like a little hint.
Right.
So everybody, and I think that's what people expected from Game of Thrones, where every loose end got tied up in this like grand reveal and this big plot point.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't get that, but you did get like all those little things that you thought were going to be important or were going to come back. They did, but just maybe not in the way that you thought.
Right. Yeah, I thought everything wrapped up pretty nicely. Like, there wasn't. Yeah, of course. There's gonna be loose ends. Like, oh, what happened to Jess? Like, who the fuck knows? I don't know. I hope she got a good job somewhere. But like, the major plot points, I think they hit on everything. Um, but yeah, no, I mean, there was definitely times where I was kind of like, all right, let's go. But all said and done, 4 episodes of a show, um, wrapped it up pretty nicely. I wasn't too upset. So
Yeah.
Yeah, let's not feel bad for these kids as well. They're
no,
getting a
they're
nice little
pieces of
fucking
shit.
payout,
Yeah,
and they get
the
yeah, and they get a
spoiled
nice
brats.
payout on the deal.
And
Yeah,
I
and
think
that's to Ryan's point, where like people fail upwards. Like, even though this is, who knows what happens to Kendall at the end of the day, because I feel like they're heavily suggesting one thing, but at the end of
suicide.
the day, they are all getting billions of dollars.
Right. And Shiv is still involved in the company.
Fuck shit.
Eh. Nah, she did the
I
right
know.
thing
Eh, I
for her.
understand.
For her. No, yeah. And I was thinking, every week you guys are like, what the fuck is wrong with you? I mean, not really, but I think one big reason why I don't like this show as much as you guys is like just what we were just talking about. Like, these fucking spoiled brats are failing upward, and they lost, quote unquote, they lost, and they're still getting billions of dollars. And I'm
Yeah.
fucking over here, looking for sales on shirts because
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
I need to, and they're taking private jets to BIM.
You're eating frozen nabbies because you have to, not
That's
because
right.
you
That
want
not
to.
because I like them.
Yeah. Uh, yeah, but I
So
know, I think that's I honestly appreciate the fact that even though it's not your favorite show, like, you wanted to do this, you watched every episode, you put the time in, and it's nice to get like that counter opinion sometimes,
yeah, I mean,
where it's
to
not
be
just
honest,
knocking it just to knock it, or because everybody else likes it.
yeah, no, I'm definitely not knocking it for that reason. I don't love it like you guys do, but I understand why you love it. And honestly, if I wasn't doing this, I might be less into it, to be perfectly honest. Like, I enjoy doing this, so that's what keeps me motivated to watch. I'm notorious for stopping watching shows even in the final season, just
Yeah.
because I
Well, I
get
think you
bored.
mentioned it. I think you mentioned during this one, like you probably wouldn't have finished the season or even started it.
Who knows? Who knows? What do you boys think? Should we get into? I heard we got an email. You think we should get into that?
We did. We got so many emails. Like I'm talking, we're in the thousands that
Oh
I've
my
only
God.
I selected just one.
Yeah, boil it down, please.
I
Give me the best one.
just one because this was the best one, and it's my wife, and there's no nepotism going on here. This was just simply the best email that we got.
Simply
Uh,
the
so
best.
the email subject is succession success, and she goes to say, "Wow, wow, wow, wowie, wow, what a finale." The more I sit with it, the more it becomes clear that it couldn't and shouldn't end any other way. The final episode truly honored the spirit of the show. As Roman so eloquently stated, we are all bullshit. And in true form, the winner, Tom, didn't even get the top spot by some brilliant chess move or outsmarting the Roys. He won because he is quite literally a yes man. We are all bullshit. There was an exchange between Matson and Tom that didn't sit well with me a bit at first, as if this show hasn't done or said heinous things before. But Ben astutely pointed out that that may have very well been crucial to Tom's trajectory. I won't lay it out here as he might bring it up in his analysis of the scene. Lastly, giving us a scene of the Roy siblings having fun and getting along and seemingly having finally confronted with each other and themselves their screwed up relationship with their ambitions, to me, really made the conclusion of this epic tragedy all the more tragic, offering a taste of a happily ever after that will never be. Can't wait to hear your thoughts on the finale. This show and this season have been quite the ride, and I'll be sick to my stomach watching Jeremy Strong and Kieran Culkin battle it out for the Emmys later this year. Oh yeah. What did you guys think? I mean, I think that the scene that she's talking about with Tom is probably the most Matson and Tom scene is like one of the most important scenes of the whole episode. Regardless of what happens with the kids, like that truly sets everything in motion for the ending of the show.
I
Thank.
also think that Shiv telling Matson that basically Tom will suck every dick in the room was also a catalyst for him to kind of get the wheels in
Yeah.
motion. But I think, yeah, I think that was an extremely important scene. I don't know if we said it last week that we thought Tom was going to be CEO. I I was surprised that they showed that snippet of him kind of walking up in the coming attractions. I thought they were throwing us off,
Yeah.
but it was actually the fucking actual scene of him being anointed CEO and walking in and being congratulated by everybody. Um, yeah, I thought that scene between Matson and Tom was a great scene, and just to show you like who Tom really is, just an absolute fucking nobody, but just somebody who's willing to just kiss ass and be a yes man and do whatever it takes. He latched on to Logan, willing to go to jail for Logan and the company, and then turned on Shiv, and now he's just basically he knows what his role is going to be, but that's what he wants. He's happy. He's the happiest in that position. He wanted it, and he has no disregard of being basically a yes man. So
Yeah. I mean, I'll save it for when we get to that scene, but that one line that he says about Shiv, I think locked it in for him because to your point, he showed exactly who he was, and
mhm.
I thought that was the thing that won him the job.
Yeah, I mean, Benny, as a resident married person, if your future boss said he was gonna fuck your wife, do you think that would get you the job?
I think I might be fired pretty damn quick before I even finish my sentence.
I think I'd probably be in jail.
Yeah.
Not well, Aya, thank you so much for the email.
So
Much appreciated.
I did send us one more email, but I think I want
Whoa.
to save it till next week
Oh, I love it. Okay.
because we'll be discussing, I think, the future of the show a little bit, and that email will be a good jumping off point for it.
And I can't believe she beat
So
out thousands of emails to be the one
yeah,
that got
well,
read. That's impressive.
just what a fantastic email. That's all I could say.
So you
All
think we
right.
should get into the episode?
Yeah, we're still awaiting a very special guest, but when he comes in, he'll have to hit the ground running here.
Yeah, that's what happens. Listen, got to be on time. The best ability
Let the boys.
is availability.
That's right. Let the boys watch. Waits for no man.
Let me tell you something right now. This special guest, he ain't no 10x.
He ain't a 10x guy.
No.
All right. So what do you say we get into it? So see series finale with
Wait,
open
Benny, really?
eyes.
I'm sorry, Benny, to
Go
interrupt
ahead.
you. Really quick. 10x, anyone who says 10x is a fucking asshole, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
for sure.
Okay.
of course. But
I
I'm
just
Of
I've
10x.
course.
heard people say it, and I just assume that anyone that says it is either joking or is a fucking asshole.
No, you're
Yeah, just
just an
caught
asshole.
up in corporate bullshit.
Kendall. I'm sorry for interrupting you,
All
please.
right. No worries. No worries. Series finale with open eyes. Our first section of the show I want to talk about is the cold open in the first couple scenes. Kendall's getting ready. He's still rounding up the votes for the board meeting. Shiv and Matson seem to have the votes. Matson seems to be put off on Shiv. We see that, I guess, New York or Time magazine article of the puppet with Shiv puppeteering Matson. Shiv and Kendall decide to go to Barbados after they both get a beat on where the missing Roman has finally been. What did you guys think of mostly the Shiv scene with Matson? I feel like we got our first big tip that Matson has cooled off on Shiv. Ryan, what'd you think?
I mean, like, I think I probably like Shiv the most of us three. That's my guess. I'm sure we'll talk a lot more about that later. But this whole scene felt like Matson was just annoyed by her because she was being annoying, like just very manic and very like, yeah, we could do this and that and this, and here's this article, and like, you cool with the cartoon? And yeah, okay, it's fine. And he's just like, I don't give a shit. Um,
Yeah.
and like we mentioned already, that I brought up and Benny brought up, like the fact, or Robbie brought it up, I don't remember, but the fact that Shiv said Tom will suck any dick. Probably he probably wasn't even considering Tom that strongly until that conversation with Shiv. He was looking at the guy from Volter and like a couple other people or whatever. Um, but yeah, one thing I would have liked to have learned about this, like one thing that I didn't feel was really wrapped up, was Matson playing Shiv the entire time, or was it just like towards this time frame that was like, I'm not going through with this. Like, she has fulfilled her use. I personally think he was playing her the entire time, but we don't really know. They don't really tell us.
I think it was, I think he kind of tipped his hand when he was talking to Tom. I think it was the India thing that pushed him
Yeah, it could
over
be.
the edge
He
because
did.
he
Didn't
said
he
like
say that?
she's getting annoying. She was getting
Yeah.
annoying with that.
Yeah. So I don't know, but no, I mean, good scene to show how annoying Shiv can be.
Robbie, what'd you think?
Um, yeah, Shiv was just so fucking annoying in this scene. It's just that's just who she is. She thinks she's I don't know. I feel like they all do, but she just thinks that she's smarter than everybody and knows it more than I guess everybody. And she just came off just and I could see why Matson was just like, all right. And she is a strong-minded person, so the both of them are kind of headstrong. So I could see where that would not really mesh well together. But yeah, I feel like we knew that this was going to happen anyway. I mean, it was too good to be true in the beginning, and we just knew that Matson was going to screw over Shiv. But the other thing is like they the camera panned on that article,
Yeah.
and you knew, and even though Matson said that it didn't bother him, and he even said it, I think when he was having that meeting with Tom, that it did bother him. And I think that, obviously it wouldn't have worked out if Shiv was CEO. And we'll get to that at the end, later on. But I just thought it was a great scene because as weirdo as Matson is, you kind of knew that he was souring on Shiv, you know, with a little subtle camera pan to the article and just kind of how he was kind of acting in that entire scene. I think we knew it was doomsday for Shiv.
Yeah. So in between, a couple little points to talk about is we get that Shiv and Tom convo on the plane where Shiv kind of is like, hey, listen, we've said the worst possible things to each other, and you know, we're kind of in a spot where not a lot of people can be in. Like we know the worst things about each other. We know what we think. Do you want to give this relationship a real shot? And Tom basically says he doesn't know. Did you guys get a feeling like that? Is Shiv really all in on Tom, or was this part of the play? Tom later on in the episode mentions like there's not a test that you don't want to pass. I think that was like to make her seem like a complete person, that she has the husband, the kid, and it's not a divorce and all that kind of stuff. What did you guys think? Was that a play, or is that what Shiv really meant, Rob?
Um, I don't know. That's a good question. I never really thought of it as a play. I just thought she was probably being genuine in the moment because her reaction was hurt when he said, I don't know. And I think it never crossed my mind that it was a play. So I'm gonna stick with it as her being genuine because her reaction was very genuine in the moment. She was very hurt by what he said.
Yeah,
But
I think
also, let me tell you something. I'm sorry. If somebody's coming at me in a fight, my girlfriend or whatnot, and just launching haymakers and a couple of atom bombs at me and just digging me and digging me and digging me, there's no coming back from that. I don't know.
this guy.
Ryan, you want to give us a little intro for our special guest?
Oh my God. First of all, he's making us look like pieces of shit. I'm in a t-shirt, fucking golf outfit, hoodie shirt. Guy's wearing a
I was
suit.
saving the fucking turtleneck for next week.
Yeah. Well, besides the
I
way
have
he's
something, Tim.
dressed,
I'm
which
sorry.
is, oh, go ahead.
You could talk to. I was gonna. I have an introduction for him if you want.
All right. Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
You know
Go
what?
ahead.
I'll just say this fucking guy looks sharper than Stewie on his best day right now. So
Wow.
Well. Speaking of
look
Stewie,
at him.
Ryan, the man joining us now is a man who likes weird sex and bad drugs, and that is one of the co-hosts from the Unofficial Intelligence Podcast, our great friend, Big Tony, Anthony. Anthony, how's it going?
Thanks for having me, guys.
So, Ann, I'll catch you up on where we're at in the episode here. We talked about the beginning of the episode, and we're at the Shiv and Tom convo on the plane. But before we dive into the episode a little bit further, can you give us your thoughts on the episode as a whole?
Sure. So I'm sorry for my lateness, guys. The traffic from Bridgehampton was crazy. Just closing deals here. Yeah. So, I mean, what do you expect from this show? Uh, was it, the mind blowing epic ending that I wanted? No, but that's what I come to expect. The writers stuck with their guns. They wrote the characters. You knew there wasn't going to be a Cinderella story. I mean, sort of, but it was definitely a good ending. And we'll get into it more, I'm sure, but honestly, at first I didn't like it, and then I stewed on it for like about an hour, and then I laughed at myself and I said, this is exactly what they wanted us to like feel going into this last episode, like something absolutely blindsides us, right? But it's exactly how it's supposed to end.
Yeah, in a way, everybody got what they deserved.
Yeah, 100%.
All right. So the next thing I wanted to point out before we get in a little further to the episode is we get our first little hint of Greg. I mean, we've known the whole time he's a little bit of a snake, but Greg tells Hugo where Roman is. So that's how Kendall finds out. Shiv finds out from her mother. And we get that scene of Kendall calling his assistant New Jess, which I thought was perfect. And we get a little bit of him working on Stewie. Stewie seems to be wobbling a little bit, and Kendall spends the first part of this episode constantly trying to get in contact with Stewie. I'm gonna hold off on Barbados because I feel like that would be better to talk about as one scene. So let's go to the Tom and Mattson dinner that we talked about earlier. Mattson reveals that he wants a U.S. CEO, and it's not Shiv. He asks Tom if that's what he wants, if he's the man for the job. He wants a puppet and not a partner. And they go for shots after Tom seemingly gives a very good answer. And Greg uses Google Translate app to discover Shiv is not going to be the CEO, and he calls Ken. Anthony, why don't you start us off? What do you think of the scene between Tom and Mattson at dinner?
So I know I just said in my little aside there that there was something we weren't expecting, or we knew exactly what was coming. That was the most unexpected part of the episode for me. Maybe you guys had a better read to it, but after they showed that shot when Mattson was with Shiv, kind of looking at the paper, and she's like, "Is there a problem?" And he's like, "Nah, I think it's funny." It was like, I'm like, all right, that has some relevance, and we see it come to play here in this like restaurant scene where Greg is just kind of fucking sitting back and listening like a little snake that he is. And you know, um I think that move by Mattson when he was basically saying like, I can definitely fuck Shiv, and I kind of want to. He wanted to see if he was going to have a knee jerk reaction to it and kind of fall for the bait, which he played it so beautifully. And that was the beautiful closer for his whole arc, was that I'll play by the rules. I'll play by anyone's rules, and I'll suck that biggest dick in the room to get what I want. And he did.
Yeah.
So it was a really cool scene. I know you saw it behind his eyes when they took that shot where he was just like, yeah, all right, fine. Yeah, like,
Yeah,
okay,
fuck
yeah,
it.
I'm your guy.
Ryan, what'd you think?
Well, I think the smartest thing Greg ever did was that Google Translate. I think the whole sequence of events after this probably would have changed if Tom had said to Greg, "They're looking at me," because then Greg probably would have latched on to Tom instead of trying to still be in Kendall's corner. But either way, I mean, Tom ended up, we see later, Tom ended up as CEO, and Greg has got a sticker on his head, so he's good. But yeah, no, I mean, we said it before. Tom is, like you said in episode 2 or something, or no, 4. I'm here to serve, and that's what he told Mattson.
Yeah. Robbie, what about you?
Yeah, I think Anthony made a great point. Basically about that. I want to have sex with your wife, and he played a calm, cool, and collective. Which, yeah, I didn't even think of it, and I think that's a fantastic point. Kind of just like playing with him, and Tom, of course, just not giving a fuck, just wanting to do what Tom wants to do, and to advance his position. And he played it cool, and I think because of that little interaction, like you said, is why why Mattson chose him to be CEO. Also, shout out to my sister Katie, who finished finished it all, and we watched it last night together. And she said, "I can't believe nobody has used that Google Translate app in like prior episodes." So shout out my sister Katie. She was there for me last night while I needed a life alert because I was fucking having an anxiety attack for an hour and a half. But yeah, Greg, we shit on him, make fun of him, but that was an absolutely smart play. And like Ryan said, and I agree 100%. If he knew it was going to be Tom, that would have never happened.
Yeah, to that point, I mean, I think that that's why this is the first time you see someone try to use Google Translate, because Greg is like, he thinks he's fucked. Like, they've always treated like Matson and the whole Swedish contingent like whatever, let them be the crazy Europeans, whatever they're saying doesn't matter to us because we're rich and fuck them and we'll figure out a way to get through. But Greg is so desperate in that moment that he's like, I need some type of answer right now. Probably something I would have done, because if you tell me you need some, we're gonna be fine, or just wait, you'll find out. Like, I need to know right in that moment. But yeah, I mean, you guys touched on the thing that I were talking about, because she was like, I hate that Matson said that about Shiv. Like, it just felt like she was there as like, oh, there's a sexual tension thing going on. And that's like, no, I think that was like Tom's final test. Matson, for the most part, knows Tom is like jelly, and he'll do whatever it takes to, we saw that with the first time that they interacted at the wake, where Matson asked him what kind of manager he is. He's like, well, what kind of manager do you want me to be? And the whole, he was working during the funeral. I think all these, and the comment about him sucking the biggest dick in the room, like all those things for Matson, like he saw the type of person and the type of worker that Tom was. And I think even to the point where he can't even socially interact at the art gallery when they're trying to have a normal conversation. Like, the only thing on Tom's mind is always business. So that question to him was like, all right, let's see how he reacts to this. And if he truly is a yes man, like, he's gonna let me get away with saying this.
I also want to point out, Ben, what you mentioned about Greg being like on his fucking toes at that point. We've been sucking Tom's WOM scams the entire time, but I'm going to continue to do so, because without Tom's comment after Greg came over, when Matson walked away to get wherever he went, and he said, "So what's going on?" And he goes, "Big pay decrease for you."
Yeah.
And he like scared the shit out of him.
Yeah.
And like, Greg had that fucking, the face he always has with his eyes bulging out. And that kind of set the fire. So Tom sort of put that whole play in motion as well. And then you'll see it comes back. We'll mention, I'm sure, in the scenes upcoming where they get into a little slap boxing match in the bathroom. But, he kind of set that up too, where he instilled that scared like boy into Greg, and Greg's like, I need to fucking know right now.
Yeah. Robbie, as our
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead. I have
You go ahead.
question.
No, so you go ahead first, Ben.
Yeah.
Okay, Robbie, as our resident rich person on the podcast, biggest, most explosive reveal of the series, Greg making 200K.
Dude, 100%. Because my question to you guys was, Greg's salary of 200K, justifiable or unjustifiable?
Hey, man, the boy gets down and dirty and plays with the money.
Justified.
I think it's justifiable. Yeah.
200. I'll tell you something right now. 200K. I would do whatever it takes to what Greg does. So, I mean, he's well worth that 200K. Hopefully, he gets a little more.
Hey, sweetheart, you want some wasabi in your eye?
I got a little lemon liqueur for you there, sweetheart.
I think too, like, I'm never gonna knock somebody's salary, man. So if you can get 200K for being the bitch boy, good for you. Good
Love
for
it.
you.
Love it.
Who do you think made more, Greg or Jess?
Oof, I think Greg.
Probably.
I think Jess was probably getting 100K, but like probably like 150 around there.
Yeah.
But if she was making that over 200, she would have stayed.
Yeah.
Stuck around.
New Jess probably making like 60.
Yeah. New Jess is at least capped
65.
at a 75. Yeah.
Let me see here. All right, so let's talk about Barbados. We get one of the lines of the season and the series where Ken tells Shiv a cunt is as cunt does. I just wanted to point that out quick.
Unbelievable.
So in Barbados, we have the early meet where Roman is now leaning towards Shiv, and he pretty much wants to be left alone. They keep trying to put pressure on him. Ken and Shiv stay for dinner, and Peter and Jonathan have a business pitch, which I don't know if when I watched it with subtitles, they were basically pitching a retirement home. They're like, it's not as fancy as Living Plus, but your basic needs will be met.
Fucking Peter.
Yeah.
Well, the
I
So
love
their
their
business-
reaction, just incredulous that the kids wouldn't listen to their bullshit.
Yeah. It's also funny too how the mom is also a billionaire, but they need the kids to fund it.
Fuck out of here.
So the business pitch gets interrupted by Greg calling Ken. Greg reveals Shiv will not be the US CEO. Ken tells Roman Shiv. Shiv confirms it. And then they get Tellus on the phone, who tells them they need one leader and a unified front. And after Rome and Shiv weigh killing Kendall, they decide that they will allow him to be CEO. So a lot more detail in that whole scene, but we'll talk about it, and that stuff will come as it comes. Robbie, what did you think about the reveal and then the crowning of Kendall?
I thought the reveal was great. I was on the edge of my seat. I fully thought, the band's back together, and they're gonna put on a united front, and they're gonna come out here guns blazing and kind of reclaim the company. Um, it was a great scene. I mean, that's what I love about this show. It's not like it's intense for me on a different scale of like how Game of Thrones was intense for me. I don't know. It was just very, very intense in the moment. I was happy that they had the reveal. I was happy that, I thought that they were going to all band together. One thing I wasn't happy about is Roman and Shiv's terrible. I'm thinking of the word. I'm drawing a blank, but mimicking low
Impressions.
Kendall. Yeah, there you go. Impressions of Kendall. I didn't really think that they did. I mean, Shivs was terrible, and I thought Roman could have been a little bit better.
I loved them. I thought they were so great.
Why would
Ryan,
you try and kill me?
That's really not good. Ryan, what'd you think of the scene here?
So well, before I mention that, I just want to ask. So, Robbie, you felt anxiety during this scene particularly?
Yeah,
Did Anthony, did you also feel anxious during this scene?
I was anxious to where like it was gonna land. Like, I kind of felt like they would have all decided it would be Kendall, but I didn't know if Roman was gonna go nuts or Shiv was just gonna completely like melt down. And I was kind of surprised with how calmly they came to a conclusion.
Anthony,
I
how did you
was
feel?
a little not really anxious because I feel like I knew they were gonna blow it. Um, because just we'll get into it on my explanation, but I knew that something wasn't gonna go right. Anxiety throughout the whole show, yeah, because you're just like, what's gonna happen? But I knew something. I knew Shiv and Rome, like deep down in the heart, didn't want to do it. Like, and they were like, "Fuck it," but, this is the only chance we have.
Right.
And I don't think they fully had the 100%. I mean, they did, but they didn't.
Right. And the reason I'm asking is you just now I'm thinking maybe that's a big reason why I don't love this show as much as you guys, is because I would say that I've never felt anxious once during this whole entire series, like ever. Because like I'm just like I don't know if it's just me that I'm pretty like calm, or it just didn't hit me that way, but I was never on the edge of my seat at all. So maybe that plays into it, but it's just the way you said it, Robbie. I was just like, oh, I didn't even consider this scene anxiety inducing at all, and I don't know, but I mean, I love the scene, them swimming and hey, get out of here, and you go swim to the dock, and
Yeah.
just them swimming over. I don't know, just this scene, and then leading into them making the stupid smoothie like this. I know it's corny and cheesy, and I am glad they didn't end it this way with the kids all loving each other and whatever. But I like that shit. I like that optimistic, people get along and whatever. I don't know. But so I liked these two scenes.
the thing.
And what did you think?
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead, Rob.
The thing about this show that I love so much, and maybe other shows do it as well, but like when they were gonna have a think, when Roman and Shiv were gonna have a think, you don't see it. And that's what sometimes I don't get frustrated, but that's what I love about it, because you don't know what they're actually saying. You can interpret anything, in your imagination and what you think that they were saying. But hey, they could have been saying, how do we fuck Kendall over in the end? Or how do we band together? So that's what I kind of enjoy most about this show. And Ryan, I can't believe I can't believe you didn't get anxious in the bear hug scene, season 1, episode 6, I think, when they fucking trying to get Logan out of there. That was it. 15 minutes of fucking stress.
When he's sitting in traffic before the vote, that scene.
Yeah, and he
That
runs over and
and the lead up to the vote where Roman's sniffing his armpit, like just that whole thing.
No, I don't. I mean, I don't get anxious often. It's pretty tough for me to get anxious. So I don't know. Maybe I'm the weirdo here. I should be
Oh,
more
Ryan.
anxious.
You're the Matson of this podcast.
That's insulting. He's a piece of shit.
Go ahead, Ant.
Ryan, you should definitely be fucking flying planes with that fucking iron will that you have.
yeah.
I need
My
you behind the
hands-
wings, baby.
Never shake.
Never shake. So
This is the hand I shoot with.
this scene is the one that I continually kept going back to, where after some deep consideration of saying that I actually like the ending was all because of this night Barbados scene for 2 specific reasons. So, I'm waiting, and Ben knows my fucking conspiracy theories on HBO shows are so outlandish that I was like, oh my God, there's a shark's gonna eat Kendall. I was like,
I thought that.
He's finally gonna drown.
Yeah,
finally.
This is it. And then it brought me back to Earth. And I was like, all right. And then immediately they go right into talking about murdering him.
Yeah.
And at first I'm like, are they serious? And then I'm like, no, they're definitely not serious. They don't have the fucking balls. And, then that's what I kind of like realized, like HBO, and Robbie mentioned a good point. I keep comparing it to Game of Thrones because obviously they're 2 of like the top tier fucking shows that they've ever released. So I'm waiting for that, but Succession knows, the writers know what lane they're in, and they're not going to push it to that level, but they pushed it just enough to the point where, we're going to like kind of troll you about it, like back-to-back scenes.
Yeah.
I mean, again, I wasn't completely like, oh my God, they're going to do it, but it was funny that they kind of threw it in there. And you kind of see all of their arcs like hit their peak at this moment where, pervert fucking Oedipus Rome, Kendall, like, I mean, he has another moment, but this is one of the moments where he's like, it's definitely going to be me. They all have that little sibling argument about like, oh, well, Dad said it was going to be me. And then Shiv makes that funny remark about like, oh, and whatever. She made the impossible things she was talking about. I wish I could remember it, but do you guys have that on your notes? What did she say?
Zodiac Killer or something like that?
Yeah, the Zodiac,
Yeah.
Zodiac Killer. But it's just, I don't know, man. It was like a beautiful scene. Like every sequence of that was just fantastic.
I think too, like just this scene was also part of the reason why I love the show so much, is just the dialogue like felt, you never are like taken out of it where like, oh, that's kind of seems kind of cheesy or fake. Like it just, everything felt so real, the way that they were throwing it back and forth at each other, the way they eventually came to the conclusion where, like, I guess it does have to be Ken. Like as much as we hate it, it really does make the most sense. And just the way that they spoke to each other, it just felt real to me. I don't know. So I liked it a lot. And that I was happy getting some happy Ken on the dock and seeing Kendall with that full on smile there.
Yeah, and then even like when they do season 2, episode 10, when they had that little funny conversation on the yacht with the 3 of them, when they're like making those little voices and about you needed a hug and things like that. Even when I think it was during the wedding, maybe season 1, when they're on the boat together, I think maybe smoking, when all those little interactions together. And that's what is so sad about the whole thing, because when they're together and they're like on a united front, it's good to see. and it's great to see. And then it just hurts when the three of them, because obviously we all have siblings, so it just hurts when they're at each other's throats, and what really happens at the end.
Yeah.
I
Would
I
you?
love the fact. I'm sorry, Ben.
No, go ahead.
I just love the fact also in the writing where they only let them be united for like a small amount of time, and then they get fucked like over, and they deserve it, rightfully so,
Mhm.
right? And then, you know, the only time that they're ever somewhat successful and have all their ducks in a row was when Logan was around, when they were fucking like trying to get back at dad.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And that was the only time that they were completely 100% on
Well,
each
it's
other's side.
because it's yeah, when they're all a united front, like you mentioned, because that's even as stupid as the 100 was, like at least they were moving the ball forward. Like when they had those moments where it was the three of them against the dad, like they did make a move that even surprised Logan at some points, like with the, again, as stupid as it was, bidding 10 billion for Pierce, like they checkmated Logan there. So it's, you always get that taste of what it could be if it was the three of them, but it just, it can never last long.
Speaking of Pierce, do you think Nan's like, where's my fucking money?
Yeah. She's gonna be like, you guys good? Like, am I getting paid now?
We getting our 10 billion or
Ryan,
what?
yeah, Ryan, what'd you think of the? I feel like it was not a throwaway line, but it's very important to like the story of Kendall when he tells him that he tells the siblings that when he was 7, Logan promised him the company.
I mean, I understand what the writers were trying to do with this, to say that like Logan's a piece of shit, to like, I don't know, put that type of pressure on a child or whatever, but like I don't think that's necessarily like a shitty thing to do, to tell your son like, this empire or this business that I've built, like I want to turn it over to you. I think the difference between it being shitty and not being shitty is the fact that if you're a good father from age 7 until adulthood, rather than Logan, who is probably a piece of shit, then it makes it worse. Like if I had
Yeah,
a business and told my son like, hey, I'm going to turn this over to you someday. If you want it, like, awesome. And then I'm a good dad for another 30 years. Like, then that's different. But they were definitely trying to make it like, wow, Logan's so shitty because he put that on Kendall's shoulders. But Kendall's a little bitch boy, so that's his fucking problem.
I think it just like hammered the point home that like what we see at the end of the episode with Kendall, like this is his life.
His whole life.
That this is Shiv has a family. Roman kind of seems like he's cool with having no pressure on him and like just enjoying his money. The only thing Kendall cares about is the company, and I think it's because Logan put that in his head at such a young age. But you're right, where if he was a good father after that moment, then it's all cool. But he wasn't. You guys have any thoughts about that?
Um, no, I think everybody really said that. I think that's a ton of pressure to put on a 7-year-old boy, obviously, or any child. But I think that that's who Logan was. I don't think he was doing it out of genuine, heartwarming feeling. That I just think that he was doing because he was this scumbag, and his whole life was putting those kids, pitting them up against each other. They had fucking Roman locked in a cage, and they were feeding him. I don't know if it was real dog food or fake dog food, but it was always all of them pitted up
Certainly
against each
wasn't
other, and that's
steak.
how they. Yeah, and definitely chicken for Kendall. He's a big chicken guy. But yeah, I just think that's just the way it was, and I feel like even I forgot what Kendall said, like about being like a business psycho and like
Yeah.
to Roman, but that's just all he is. Like you said, Ben, that's just who he's been his whole life. He's just somebody that only cares about this top position and worried about business, and that's really it.
Yeah, I have that quote from the scene in the like that conference room that they're in. And he says that, hold on, let me find it. He says that I'm a cog that's built for only one machine. And if he feels like if he doesn't get to do this, he might die. So I mean, we see like how seriously Ken takes this. Um All right, let's move on to
Wait, I'm
the
sorry.
meal. Go ahead.
That line from later on, so that interpretation of when he brings that up about being told in a candy shop at Bridgehampton at 7, I feel like that was like the tagline for like who he was from that moment on.
Yeah.
Like that's why he's a fucking idiot. That's why he only has he's built for one thing. And he brought it up to make his siblings feel bad. And you know exactly from where that line was, the cog line was that this is all I got. And this is all I'll ever be.
Yeah.
It's funny that they built him for this and he still sucks at it.
Right.
All right. So let's move on to the meal fit for a king. To anoint Kendall, they make him a meal fit for a king. While having fun, Caroline comes down to tell them to be quiet and not touch Peter's special cheese. They make Kendall his protein smoothie and dump it on his head. This scene to me is just, that setting us up for maybe we will get a happy ending, and it just sets us up for the ultimate tragedy that does end up coming out of it. Anthony, what do you think about the meal fit for a king?
Yeah, I think you summed it up pretty well. Just, there's a moment of, the kids are back, but also shows like how they kind of didn't have a childhood. Like, really, I don't know. That's how my interpretation was like, they're finally being able to be kids, like free and happy and excited again. And I found out exactly what Peter calls the ends of the bread, which we talked about on another podcast. I call it the butt ends or the butts. They call them nubbies.
Yeah, the nobbies.
Yeah. So,
Robbie, what do you think about this scene?
I thought it was very strange. We were sitting here and we're like, this is fucking awkward. And we're like, when is this gonna end? But I do love the siblings coming together. And I just feel like Jeremy Strong's so method that he probably actually drank that actual drink with all the ingredients in it. Probably wasn't just a fucking prop off camera. I feel like
it's confirmed. He said in the official Succession podcast that he absolutely did drink it.
Oh, that's so fucking gross.
Yeah.
Shout out to the god fucking Kendall, Jeremy Strong, for drinking that disgusting fucking drink. That was gross.
The other thing they mentioned too is that this was the last scene that they filmed. So it's nice that they kind of got to end on a happy note. Ryan, what did you think of this scene?
It felt like, I don't know about anyone else, but it felt like that this was either something they've done or something similar they did as kids. Meal fit for a king. It was almost like they were, sing song and like, we definitely did this type of shit as a, like, more like who could do, like who would do whatever, like when we were kids and we used to dare each other to drink the corn water.
Yeah.
But the fuck got $5 out of it though one time, so that was good.
Corn water is probably the water that's in the corn can, I would think.
No, like when you boil corn on the cob.
Oh.
Leftover water, corn water.
You're fucking nasty.
Yep. I didn't drink it.
You
should have.
No, you would. Look at
hot dog water, bro.
Ugh.
It's the Frankfurter water, bro. Come on.
Frankfurter water. It's Frankfurter summer.
Hey, sweetheart, just bathe my fucking dog in here. Drink it, would you?
Hey, sweetheart, put my fucking nuts in this water. Why don't you drink it, would you?
All right. So the kids, united for the time being, head to Logan's apartment. Connor sets the rules for the great reallocation. The kids watch a video of Logan, Connor, and the old guard having fun at dinner. Tom tells Shiv that he is the U.S. CEO pick. Tom finds out Greg is the one that snitched, and they fight. Tom calls Mattson, and Mattson springs to action. Again, I mean, coming off the heels of that, the meal fit for a king, it's another like heartfelt moment between the kids, and again, it's just setting you up for what comes next. And it was just so nice you get the joking between Roman and Shiv with the abbreviations of Connor's rules, and you get, Ken smiling at the video of Logan, and Roman breaks down and Shiv consoles him. I just thought it was a cool scene, and it just quickly how quickly it turns to Shiv freaking out and springing them into life. Ryan, what do you think about this scene?
I mean, obviously, any time we get to spend with Connor is time well spent, and his absolute insane rules and convoluted things going on with these stickers. I loved it. The great reallocation. What a name. What a man. Amazing.
I love too the when they're like, "Oh, we noticed some things are missing," and then he's like, "Oh yeah, there was an initial round," and he
Yeah.
was like, who was present for that?" He's like, "It was just me," and he
Just
like
me.
does the laugh, like he knows, he got what he wanted.
But he actually
Anthony,
seemed to have, sorry, he actually seemed to like have a relationship with Logan in the end. Like you get little pieces, like he knew about the mausoleum, like he was in the video that they were showing. Just like little things that he was actually like talking to his father about not business. So like and that's I don't think any of the kids put up a stink because they realize that.
well, too, it's the wedge that was always between the three siblings that we see the most of is the company. There was always
Right.
something that he could use to play to his advantage, where as Connor could just be Connor, and
Yeah.
like maybe Logan didn't necessarily wasn't the greatest father to him, but Connor didn't need anything for the most part, so he could just like chill with him or text him or do whatever he wants. Ant, what'd you think about this scene?
So it was a nice flow afterwards where, they had everything going for them, siblings back together. But I kind of feel like it was like Kendall was reaching in after, because, Shiv put her hand on Rome's shoulder, and then, Kendall kind of puts his hand in almost like, and I was like, is that some sort of sign, like, you know, they're with him, but they're not with him? I don't know, maybe in that moment. But does anybody else get fucking super excited when Shiv gets like fucking so batshit crazy, like, and angry? Nothing brings me greater joy in the show than that. Like when she finds out like it was Tom, and which I kind of felt like I wish Tom never told her and let her find out like after the fact. But I don't know. It was fun. It was kind of interesting. And it also set up for probably the coolest fucking moment between Tom and Greg with the stickers. So
I think that it's all part of the calculus as to why Shiv makes the decision that she does at the end of the episode. Like if Tom doesn't tell her, you know, I think maybe I think she was wavering to begin with, but I think that kind of put her over the edge to vote against Kendall. What do you think, Robbie?
Yeah, I don't think Tom was going to tell her, um, because when he says to her, like, maybe why don't you kind of push it through? And I think that she started to surmise, like, oh my God, this fucking idiot who I've been bullying for the past four seasons is about to become CEO of this company. Um, First off, shout out to the oracle of the financial district, the fucking king of profit and loss statements. What a fucking voice on our man,
Carl.
Paul Bueller, aka fucking Pavarotti. I mean, the boy fucking does it all. I mean, he's probably a fucking missionary, fucking nightmare in the sheets. Um, I love
They
that
call him
guy.
the missionary monster.
That's it. I mean, I love it. He's the best. I love that scene. It looked like everybody was so happy, and like my sister said, my sister Michelle said it was just funny how happy Logan looked, and his kids weren't even around, except only Connor was there, who did a great impression of him with the little teapot thing. Um, yeah, I thought it was a great scene. It was emotional, and I, for one, would have done the exact same thing that Connor did. I would have had a little fucking initial round of going through all the things and picking out what I wanted and then letting everybody have it. So shout out to Connor. Again, the boy, even in the series finale, stays winning. So and little 2 week itch between him and Willa, but we'll see what hopefully they make it through.
Yeah. Ryan, what'd you think?
I mean, a cow print couch. That's way better than anything that fucking Logan had. I think I think this whole scene, the great allocation, Tom and Shiv, and Tom and Greg was maybe my favorite part of the whole show. You got a little bit of the Logan video. You saw some things in there. Carl, amazing. Jess, like holding on to, not Jess,
Carrie.
Kerry holding on to Logan's arm, like in view of everyone. Uh, Tom, just Greg, I loved it. Like, who do you think if they actually threw down, who wins?
Greg's
Greg.
face, bro.
He looked like he was
face said
about
it
to
all.
swing.
Yeah, like if it would have went further, and I think that's why Tom bailed out of there, because it was the first time like Greg, figuratively and literally like hit back, and he wailed Tom right in the face.
Yeah.
He got a good one off.
He does. The guy's reached like a young Ali, bro. Those arms came out of nowhere. That slap came out of nowhere. So
It was
yeah,
a clean hit.
it was a
too.
nice one too.
You saw Tom's hair kind of do one of the. He had to brush it real quick.
Back and to the left.
No, I like this scene a lot. Other than probably the ending scene. This was my favorite of the whole episode.
I mentioned it earlier too that they kind of did our boy Connor dirty a little bit in this scene though, when they're talking about him going to Slovenia and they were gonna spend a little time apart. When Willa realizes that might not happen, she gives a look like, oh fuck,
Yeah.
I'm stuck with this guy. So like all that, that work that they did and all the times we praise them for having the realest relationship on the show, it seems like maybe it's not 100% great.
And who else to deliver the fucking beautiful news than our favorite resident? See you next Tuesday.
Oh, Kendall?
No, you know who.
I know.
Happy Mother's Day, Shiv.
Yeah, breaking news. Straight from my wife. Shiv had the baby one day after the series finale. Imagine she had it on
Wow.
the series finale.
Oh wow.
He
Dedication.
said too, like how many things lined up with real world events. There's another one for us.
I thought you were about to say you were having another one.
Oh please. Gee.
You, Ryan.
Oh, me? Oh, no.
Yeah, you say breaking news. Katie just told me I'm pregnant.
No, stop it.
Don't put that evil on me.
The little missionary monster there.
Oh,
Huh?
the old Carl Mule over here. Huh?
I get my tips from Carl, man.
And then
Trick is to
the last
cup the
little
butt under.
Oh.
Nice.
the last little nugget we got here, and again we talked about those little tying of loose ends. We get the, it's kind of almost a throwaway line, but Mencken possibly losing that lawsuit in Wisconsin. So I mean that's the last we're going to hear about Mencken really the rest of the series, but it seems like he may not be the winner after all. So we go to the board meeting. Stewie is locked in for Kendall, but when it comes time for the vote, Shiv leaves the room. She's changing her mind. Kendall freaks out. Shiv leaves and casts the final blow. Kendall goes back to the boardroom, scuffling, and Frank tells him it's over. Ken doesn't have it. Anthony, since you're our special guest, talk me through the scene. Tell me what you thought, the quotes, the points you want to hit, what you got from it. Have about it.
Lots to unpack here. Lots to unpack. I want to start with another troll moment of the series when Kendall gives the old around the face bear hug to fuck up his, because he saw Rome wavering like, why can it be me? Why? Look. And at that moment I was like, oh shit, I think Rome might turn. And then we fast forward right to his vote and he's like, yeah, nope. And I'm like, oh fuck, little bitch. I really was rooting for Rome to kind of come out on top because he's been bullied the whole time, and like I wanted him to be the one that kind of pulled the rug from underneath the two other siblings, but that didn't happen. And we get to really see like the true, you knew Kendall had a darkness, but there was this desperation that came out of him, which if anybody, you want to see somebody in their worst moments, it's desperation. And when he started making up lies about not killing that kid, or that never happened. Oh, I just made that up to get us closer. And then he kind of just goes like, fuck it, I'm just gonna, beat up Rome again, because that's kind of like how he coped his entire life, of just beating down on the younger sibling, and even Shiv too, kind of cornering them off so that he can get on top. Um, it was super interesting. Also, what should I have had my sunglasses on? What's
No,
going on?
Robbie with the burp of the century.
Oh, I
You
didn't even hear
heard
that.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Sorry, go ahead.
I thought I had it right here.
I thought someone was just going, mm.
No, I thought I must have blacked out because I was listening to you when I probably burped right here.
I'm gonna black out because it's fucking 300 degrees in the suit.
Sorry.
Take the
No,
jacket
you're good.
off.
No. We gotta stay in character here, boys.
All right.
No, don't be sorry. Yeah, it was and you knew just then, obviously, that was it. When Shiv was like, no, fuck you. And I was like, yeah, here it is. Here's the fucking fall apart. This is when everybody goes. And it also served Kendall right, because he walked in, he's like, we don't even need to vote. I got it.
Yeah,
And
it's the hubris.
Frank's like, nah, bro, I think we're gonna do the vote. Didn't say it quite like that, but in that way, yeah. And you had all the people that you wanted to see all in one room, just going back and forth. And I don't know, man. The ending. Are we going right to the ending too?
We'll save that for last.
Okay. Yeah. So, we know what happens. They didn't get it. I also don't want to eat all the cookies, let you guys have some of it because it's your podcast. But those are my biggest moments that I love the most.
Yeah, and it's a great point that you bring up with the hug from Kendall, because I think Kendall has kind of realized Roman's button to press to get him back in line, and it's that abuse that Logan kept him in line with. So, we see, like you said, Roman's wavering. He puts that pressure on the wound, and it reopens it, metaphorically reopens the wound of abuse. And even though Roman says, I fucking hate you, he's like, no, but he's like, I'm gonna vote for you. We got it. We'll do it. And it's just that throwaway line too, as he's walking out, when Kendall's like, it could have been you. Like, it's just very a Logan thing to do, to like, you've done the damage, and you just pour that little extra salt in the wound on the way out. Robbie, what'd you think of the boardroom scene?
First off, nothing got my fucking Pishkadel rising when my man Stewie walked in, the fit god, the fit king, looked like $1,000,000,000,000,000. One thing I wanted to point out is when Kendall sat down in Logan's chair. I rewatched it again before. Just Shiv's like face, like kind of looked like turned to disgust. I don't know if that was anything or just a little, because it kind of showed her face and kept on it for a little bit. But yeah, that boardroom scene was again pretty intense to watch. I want to know. They don't really say, but like, why did Frank all of a sudden think it was a good deal? Right, a couple episodes ago at the party, he was kind of with Kendall about doing a little reverse Viking and kind of buying Gojo. So that kind of, I was kind of confused at, like, when did Frank turn?
I don't know
But
if he ever did. I think like we left out on that episode, in that scene where Kendall tells Frank, and Frank looks like holy shit. But at the same time, I don't think he ever. I guess, and I thought the same thing as you, but maybe he just never was with Kendall when it came to this. Like, at the end of the day, and it's what he says before the vote, is like he has a financial responsibility to the company to do what he thinks is best, and this is it.
yeah, it's true. Like, it's such a stark contrast to, we said, season 1, episode, I think 6, when he was all in on, getting Logan out of there. But yeah, I really didn't think it was going to be Shiv. that was gonna screw over uh Kendall and the company. But you just go back to everything that kind of happened to her. They were willing to fucking screw her over. Even when Kendall said a couple episodes, like I think episode 4 this season, as sure as shit doesn't say Shiv fucking Roy on that piece of paper. And they were always willing to kind of exclude her out of that. And she was always getting fucked over this entire series by her father, by her brothers. So, having time to sit back and think and not being pissed off at shit for what she did, you realize like, okay, she had every right to, and I understand it. But are we talking about when they go into the three of them go into the room together, or are we saving
Yeah.
that?
No, yeah.
I mean, that was intense as ever. Kendall just fucking losing, like Anthony said, like him just like he's like, you kill the kid, and he goes, which one?
Yeah,
And they're like,
Yeah.
like there's more than one. But yeah, just him kind of trying to, get out of that, weasel way out of that and catch himself in that lie, and then him just freaking out. And then Roman just daggering him with those kids aren't even his real kids. Like Shiv is actually true,
Bloodline, yeah.
right? Yeah, the bloodline. And that killed him. And he was about to go full fucking Game of Thrones and rip his eyeballs out. But yeah, it was just great acting by everybody. I mean, Jeremy Strong was awesome in that scene. I loved it. He was just, grasping for straws, man, and you could just see like, true, if he doesn't have this company, he has nothing. No matter how much money he has in the world, he never could win this entire series. He just never won a single thing, and he just isn't his dad, and I thought it was just great. Like the intensity of the scene. There's no action. It's just words and that was it. And I loved every minute of it.
Do you mind if I piggyback off of one idea? Sorry. I hope none of you bring it up. But
No, go ahead.
the Shiv part, Robbie, that you mentioned, like she's been shit on this whole series. She's been powerless when she thought she had power. This was the only time that she was able to exercise a decision that could truly make a fucking difference. And she did it.
Mhm.
And I feel like that's why she pulled the trigger.
I mean, too, like before we get to Ryan, I just want to point out that if there was any doubt who steals the show acting wise in the show, like I know Kieran Culkin's had his moments. We've talked about Shiv with the facial expressions and how she's always in the background making a facial expression that you're like, oh, like what's going on there? But it's Jeremy Strong, just this scene is just so perfect, even down to the when Shiv's like, I don't think you'd be good at it, and just the way he says why, like it's
Yeah.
it's so desperate, and it's like it was so real the way he said it. And I talked about when they were talking to each other in Barbados, the way everything felt real in the conversation. It was the same thing right here. Just that desperation was just so like that was anxiety, ridden for me. Ryan, what'd you think about the scene here?
Yeah, I mean, I forget who mentioned it, but leading up to this, I was surprised that it was Shiv who fucked the deal. I thought maybe it could have been anyone. Ewan, like Stewie could have fucked them. Roman, maybe that would have made sense as well. But then after it happened and I thought about it, it did make sense because, like you guys pointed out, she's been pushed out her in the entire time of this show, and this was her one time to actually not only exercise power but to continue to wield it in some way. Because if she votes with Kendall and Kendall comes in, then what did he promise her? Like some bullshit job?
ATN.
ATN. All right, that's not really a bullshit job, but it's not the job. And he's like,
Yeah.
Roman, you could do socials, which means like you could go jerk off in an office next door or whatever.
And it's funny too, where he's like, and you'll fuck that up again too.
Yeah, that's
When he
funny.
tells that.
Yeah. But just the fact that, like, with Kendall as CEO, yeah, if they're buddy, maybe it's different. But when they were named co-CEOs, they were, yeah, it's us, it's the three of us. And like, they were just like, fuck you, Shiv. Like, we're going to run this. And even Roman kind of got pushed out by Kendall during that short period of time. So it totally makes sense for her to have done what she did, both thematically, and if you think about it in a real world sense, like with Tom as CEO, she still is involved in the company. She may not be, if on paper, wielding any power, but she can certainly influence Tom, who is fucking spine of a jellyfish. So I'm sure that she's still going to be maybe pushing buttons to some extent. I mean, who knows? We'll never know, but it makes sense. And then, fuck, the other thing I wanted to mention, I can't think of. I had 2 points I
While,
wanted to
while you're
make.
thinking about it, yeah, while you're thinking about it, I'll mention
Yeah.
that the shot of Kendall walking back into the boardroom was not in the script. Like he just did
Really?
that.
He just walked. Yeah.
Yeah,
No, but that was
like
good because that's what a corporate idiot would do. Like, well, I gotta go back to the meeting.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, it was
Um,
supposed to end there with Shiv, walking out of the room and the Roman, we're
the
bullshit.
bullshit,
This
which
nothing
is
is real. This isn't real.
best thing Roman
So
said in the entire show, the entire
I'm
series.
sorry.
yeah,
I'm sorry. I wanted to bring up a point too as well. When she's so concerned about him killing, that's just bullshit.
Yeah.
She didn't care.
She just brought that up.
She yeah, she didn't give a fuck about that because she basically weaseled that rape victim and when they went to Congress to basically with the NDA. So it's like we get it, but like don't go up on your high horse, Shiv, like because you're playing a stupid game.
yeah,
And that was the other point I was gonna make, with sort of connected to that, but they that whole fight in that separate room is them being children again. So like the meal fit for a king is back to them being silly siblings and like having fun and whatever. And we all have siblings. When you're around your brothers and sisters that you just act like children, like you always have, busting each other's balls or like doing silly shit, talking about stuff. But then them fighting was children, like Benny brought up. But why? And just like the
yeah,
stuff that they were saying was just like so just out of pure emotion and not logical. It was just like, you're being stupid.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Kendall
There's no,
killed a guy.
Yeah. Which
I love
which one?
I love too, like the wide shots you got of like Kendall screaming, and you could
Yeah.
hear it
Oh,
from
in the
outside
back,
the
and you could
conference
hear him
room.
say,
It
"What
was
the
just
fuck, Chev?"
yeah,
No,
yeah,
that was good.
so good.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, we got another contender for line of the years. I'm the eldest boy.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Him screaming that.
Well, you're
And
not
then,
though.
but here's where he's not. But I'll give him I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. I mean, he kind of is.
Of
It,
the big
like,
three.
yeah, like speaking from experience, like I have in one side of my family, I'm the middle child, and the other side of the family, I'm the oldest child. Like because there's different siblings from different marriages. So I mean, yeah, I guess he is the eldest boy.
What
Yeah,
do you
but you
like better,
go.
Benny?
Yeah. I was gonna say.
I, I like being the middle child more.
Oh, really? Because
Yeah,
you can hide.
yeah, yeah, exactly. And when you're the first in a family, you get in trouble for everything.
Mhm.
Yep.
And then like you notice your younger siblings doing the same stuff or maybe even worse, and it's like, come
Yo,
on, it's right here. It's right here.
why?
um all right, any other thoughts on the boardroom scene and the fight?
Oh, two things. I'm sorry. I thought it was very childish. Very childish that these is $1 billion corporation in the middle of a heated fucking board vote for control of the company, and the three of them are just having basically a Royal Rumble fucking screaming match, acting like children, like you guys said, in front of all these people.
Yeah, but I mean, that's how it is, I guess, when you're that powerful. Like, I mean, think about all the shit that Logan got away with. And when you're that high up, it's like almost like, all right, well, they'll figure it out, or let them do what they need to do because they're the breadwinners and they're the one that are making us all the money here. So, you know, yeah, it's fucking wild and it's crazy to see, but I don't think it's that far out of reality.
And another thing, why do you guys think that Roman just couldn't be in the same room with Jerry? Like he was just having a fucking basically a panic attack.
The dick pic stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that even like the whole way she like told him it could, I could have got you there, and the way she completely shut him down after he was, trying to not win her back, but like get her back into Waystar. I think that he knows how badly he fucked up that situation and how badly it could go if it does come out. And I think he just, he's that child that he was at the funeral. Like when it comes down to it, he's just a little child that doesn't know how to handle these like intense emotions.
Right. I mean, do you guys want to see your ex-girlfriend? I don't.
Not no,
No,
no.
not at all.
Yeah. Roman probably sees her as like in a weird fucked up way, like an ex-lover or something.
Or like a mother figure
Yeah.
that he just so happened to send pictures to. I mean,
Mother
that's what got
lover.
him off. That's what got him off. It got
Yeah,
him there.
sure.
Yeah.
It's just, he's been on such a hairpin trigger these last couple episodes. Like even if he felt that way about her, a couple episodes ago, he probably could have got through it. But, lately he's just so on the edge all the time that the littlest thing sends him spiraling. All
And
right.
one
So,
quick thing
go
again,
ahead.
I just want to reiterate that I loved Roman's lines of that we're bullshit. This is bullshit. Best my favorite lines from Roman ever. I mean, I know he's got a lot of funny one-liners, but that was perfect from coming
Yeah,
from
I'm
him.
bullshit. I'm bullshit. You're bullshit. She's
Yeah.
bullshit.
Yep. And the reveal that Kendall's kids are not his. We didn't know that prior to this, right?
I
Did
think it
we
was
assume it?
implied at some point.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm getting confused as to like what people assumed like on Reddit and stuff, but I always kind of figured that that was the case.
Yeah. Okay.
Um, so before we go, Frank and Carl consider one last rodeo or their golden parachute. But it seems like from Tom's point of view, Carl and Frank are fucking gone. So R.I.P. to the gods. Roman signs the deal, and we get that scene between Greg and Tom, where Tom tells Greg that, you should have been gone. Mattson hates you, but I have some capital and I got you. And he puts the sticker from Connor, our boy Connor, making one last roundabout appearance to close out the show. Uh, yeah, and then we get.
I love that Robbie's drinking from a bucket.
What was that, Stanley?
We get the
Do it.
damn, that's huge.
64 ounces of fucking pure fucking unadulterated filth.
We get our closing shots of the three siblings. Tom and Shiv leave together. Roman is having a martini in a bar, and he smiles kind of faintly, like the weight is finally off his shoulders. And Ken Zombie walks Battery Park with Colin behind him, stares out at the water, a la George Costanza. What did you guys think of the ending for our three main characters in that Tom and Greg's scene, Ryan?
Yeah, I mean, love that Tom's keeping Greg on. I'm curious, if there's a few things I would like to know, past this finale. I'd like to see what Greg's role is. Like, is he Tom's bitch? Does he do something? Did he get knocked down to 40K or whatever? And then, seeing the siblings, like Roman clearly was happy. That the weight is off his shoulders. There's no pressure. He can just do what he wants. Kendall clearly is. I mean, I thought it was hinted that he was gonna kill himself. I don't know. The more I thought about it, I'm not sure if that's necessarily the case. I feel like Colin wouldn't let him. But I mean, yeah, Kendall down bad, as the kids say.
Yeah, big sad. Ant, what do you think?
Um, I want to circle back what Ryan said last scene breakdown where he was saying Shiv, still might have a little hold on the company. Not indicative when you saw the shot of them holding hands because it was like the world's saddest hand job.
Yeah.
Uh, I feel like I interpret that completely differently, Ryan, where I feel like Shiv got her last kind of like hurrah and fell on the sword. And now, because like in the beginning of the show, she called up Tom and was like, yo, you want to make this relationship? And Tom was like, I
Nah.
really don't know. Like he finally stepped up a bit. And I think he's starting to grow that, like, yo, I'm CEO now. Like it is, I've played my part and I earned this shit. Like, I don't care how I got there, I got there. You're hot and you're rich, but I'm the fucking CEO.
Yeah.
So that's my thing about that. Out of all the people, Rome got the biggest win, I think, of the siblings. Because I feel like that last moment in the boardroom and getting beat up by his brother 2 more times, he was like, I'm just done with this shit. Like, I'm just so tired of it. Like, I just want to do nothing and enjoy my money. And that's what you got in that bar scene. And then Kendall, fucking sweet poetry, because Colin got the last laugh, in my opinion, when fucking Kendall approached him with his fucking rock hard dick and said, yo, Colin, you have therapy? It's kind of public knowledge. My guy, you need therapy now.
He's gonna need a lot of. He's gonna need that great grief guy.
Yeah, definitely.
When he hit the elevator button, I thought he was going to a rooftop and taking a flight.
Me too.
Air Jordan style.
That random dude saved his life.
Oh yeah, probably. Robbie, what about you?
I hate that I'm even saying this because I couldn't stand his antics in the America Decides episode, but I'm very happy for Roman. I loved Roman this season. I thought, so many ups and downs and so many highs and lows from him. But I'm kind of happy that the pressure is off of him. I think it was a nice little touch that he ordered the martini after he kind of made fun of Jerry with Jerry's drink in I think it was last week's episode. I don't remember. But yeah, I like that. I was happy for him. Kendall, man, I mean, they just made off with a couple of bills. So I don't know why is everybody so fucking sad, but it's just that family dynamic of always trying to get their father's approval and be like their father. And Kendall just stays taking L's, and I feel bad for him, but I don't feel bad for him because he's a piece of shit. But yeah, it was tough to watch. I definitely thought he was going up to the rooftop and doing a fucking nosedive onto the concrete. But yeah, I don't know where he goes from here. Who knows? But he's a lost soul and doesn't have anybody left, basically. And Shiv and Tom are just two toxic fucks that are going to continue that vicious little toxic cycle for the rest of their life. Shiv's basically playing the part of her mother now, I feel like. Um, she really doesn't have anything. She maybe could think she can manipulate Tom, but I don't think so anymore. I think Tom's a stone cold assassin. Even though he's a yes man, but I think he doesn't give a fuck about Shiv anymore. Like Anthony said, he got to where he got to because, yeah, he married into the family, but he was willing to do whatever it took to get to that CEO role. And like I said in the beginning, go to jail or turn his back on his wife. So, yeah, I think Shiv did the right thing. I understand her decision, but I don't really think she played her hand quite well. I think she's kind of undermining or underestimating Tom, and I don't think she's gonna be happy with the end result.
Yeah. Go ahead, Ryan.
I was just gonna say, like, I agree with Anthony and Robbie's point. When I was saying Shiv was like trying to stay in the company here, she became her mom. Like, she's not really able to exercise much power because, yeah, it looked like Tom is like, I'm CEO now. What are you gonna do about it? Not gonna hold your fucking hand.
Yeah.
Just make
I
me
like
heirs, basically.
Yeah, I liked the end for Roman. I feel like this whole show is like a huge like diversion or detour in his life, because I feel like that's kind of what he was doing before the show started. Like he never had any business things going on. He didn't have a job, at least that we know of. He was just kind of out there living, the Playboy life. And I feel like, yeah, it's funny to say, how are these people so sad over the amount of money that they just won? But I think one of the major points of the whole show was the money didn't matter to them because they had so much of it. It was never about getting more money or how much is this deal worth. It was always about the power. You saw it with the clothes that they wore and the things that they did. It was never exorbitantly flashy, like someone like Matson, who just was always wearing like the most outrageous shit and just trying to be, flaunt his money. But Kendall, man, it's so sad to see, like, just the way that zombie walk, like I said before. And I agree with Ryan. Like, I definitely think we know where his story ends, and it's not in that moment on that day, but you're probably weeks away from some type of horrible situation. And again, with the Jeremy Strong thing, he did a take where he was like, I was just letting the scene take over, and he like went and stepped over. He stepped over the railing, and like the actor that played Colin like ran over to him and like pulled him back. They didn't use it because that's not what Jesse Armstrong wanted. Like they wanted that ending that they had, but it's just funny how the lengths that Jeremy Strong goes to, with this character. And then Tom and Shiv, man, you guys said it all. She's just resigned to the fact that she's gonna have what little control she does, and she likes Tom having the power, and she's okay with that. It's almost in the same way, she had a dynamic with her father, like just being in the shadow of that powerful man.
Yo, petition for a fucking 20 season Tom Wamsgans as a fucking CEO.
Oh,
I'll watch
please.
every minute of it. Make it 2 hours long. I don't
The
give a
Adventures of
shit.
Tom and Greg.
Oh God, I would kill for that. You hear me now, Max? We can't call it HBO anymore.
Oh God, I know.
Stupid. I'm not sure where this fits in, but did you guys see, speaking of Wamsgams, you saw the theory or connection to
Yeah.
the Wamsgams of the World Series unassisted triple play?
Yeah.
What
And
do
it's
you
funny
think
too,
about
like
that?
Aya wanted to tell me about that during the week. And she was like, "Do you want to hear a theory?" And I was like, "No, I don't." Because I honestly, like, I hate theories at this point, because like I mentioned at the top of the show, I hate putting myself in a lane, because that's when you don't get something that you've built yourself up for. You don't appreciate the true end of it. But as soon as the the episode ends, she showed me the TikTok or whatever that girl called it out.
What was it for those who don't know, aka me?
So the
Good,
the
good.
only unassisted triple play in World Series history was by a gentleman named, I think Bill was his first name, Wamsgams, in I think 1920. I'm that
Some,
year
yeah,
maybe off,
1920, 1919, something like that.
something like that. So people are making the connection that Jesse Armstrong or whoever saw that and named Tom Wamsgams because he was going to unassisted triple kill the other siblings,
Whoa, nice. All
right? It's
right.
pretty
It's
cool,
it's fun. It's funny too, like him being a Brit and then using like a baseball reference like that. So like
right?
such an obscure baseball reference.
I know, but I don't know if I mean it's too. He couldn't have not known. Like that's too coincidental.
100%. Where do you get the name Wamsgams from? I've
Yeah,
never
Yeah.
Yeah.
that the first time I heard that name, I was like, that's a new one.
that's a name.
I'm like, Glands, isn't that the name of it? Never mind. Someone else pointed out that there was like the watches that Tom was wearing, like from season one until now. It was like a $7,000 watch, like Cartier watch in like the first season. And it's, noting his progression of power and wealth. And then he had on like a $35,000 watch in this last episode.
Wow.
So
There's been a
I was like,
lot.
who the fuck finds this shit?
Yeah, there's been a lot with Tom's fashion throughout the show where people pointed out, when he was first on the show, he had like maybe a Cartier watch, or he would wear a suit with a pocket square, and he just like really tried to go above and beyond to like show that he had money, and like his stuff didn't quite fit right. And as he got later and later into the show, he dressed more like the Roys, where everything was kind of muted and not flashy and tailored a little bit better, and maybe it didn't look as expensive, but the brands that he was wearing were like super super flashy.
And he kept his Samsung phone. So if that was anything, I know it was a big Apple versus Samsung
Yeah,
thing.
yeah, he was still the only one in the end that had the Android phone, so maybe that did have something that was a hint in some roundabout way.
Yeah.
Those green bubble people,
Yeah.
Fuck them.
They're always fucking scheming something with those green phones.
Fucking slimy bastards.
All right. So any final thoughts on the finale?
Listen.
And what do you go ahead?
Oh, people who are listening, people in America, don't let anybody ever make fun of you for swallowing your own cum, because because you too can be CEO of a media conglomerate.
It's a closed loop system, and it worked out for Tom.
In a sea full
America's
no one else
new
swallowed
diet
their own
fad.
cum.
Nope.
CEO. Clearly,
You
there was a connection there.
listen, whatever it takes.
Perfect way to end the episode. All right. So Ryan,
Yes.
take us away.
Thank you. Well, I just want to point out, great episode, guys. Loved it, Anthony. Thank you for joining us. Great
Thanks
insight.
for having me.
You?
But now it's time to play America's favorite 2 new games. The Logan Roy Memorial Serious Person of the Week and Shit Show at the Fuck Factory, which is the person who lost, while the serious person is the person who won. Now, Anthony, you are our guest. So would you prefer to go first or last, keeping in mind that it is a snake draft?
I will go last.
Wow. Good choice. So I think this week, since it is the finale, let's start with the Shit Show at the Fuck Factory again, which is who lost this week and who the fuck goes first, because we still don't know.
I think it's me.
Okay, Benny,
it's me.
please start us off.
Well, again, I want to be original, and sometimes Sam Bowie's just sitting there at number one, and you got to take him. My shit show at the Fuck Factory for this week, our number one boy, the eldest boy, Kendall Roy. Not much needs to be said, but he is my shit show at the Fuck Factory this week.
Great choice. Robbie, are you next or am I next?
Well, I think you're next.
Fuck, I don't have anybody. I was hoping you were gonna go.
Me too.
Damn it. Well, my shit show at the Fuck
That's
Factory.
why my pick was you needed to take Kendall.
Yeah.
There was a number one. And after that,
Yeah.
who you reaching
After that,
for?
it's nobody. Well, my shit show at the Fuck Factory for this week is Peter's friend Jonathan, because he clearly didn't get the money that he so sorely wanted from the children, even though, like I think Benny pointed out, the mom has a ton of money.
Yeah.
Robbie.
Oh, well, my shit show at the Fuck Factory this week is none other than Shiv Roy.
Wow.
I think that I agree with what Shiv did. I understand why she did it, but I also think that it doesn't bode well for Shiv. As you could see in the closing shot of last night, it's just two cold people in a loveless marriage about to ruin an unborn child's life. And I think that is going to, again, just continue the vicious cycle of the Roy family. Nobody changes. She wanted to be somebody that's different. She always wanted to be the smartest person in the room, but every plan she ever had never worked out except for this one. But again, it's basically she gave up the company. Her husband is CEO, but again, she kind of wants to control Tom, like I said, but I don't think she will. Um, Matson kind of doesn't want anything to do with it except for maybe put his Pishkadell inside of her. But other than that, I don't see anything, anything for Shiv in the near future. Yeah, she made off on the deal, but other than that, I think it's just another miserable, 20, 30, 40 years for Shiv, and she's becoming the person that she hated the most. I think she's becoming her mother. So I do agree with Shiv's power play. I appreciate it. I come to love it, and I think it was the right move, but at what cost?
Anthony.
So I'm gonna go a little off the rails here. This is gonna be an inanimate object. Fucking Peter's special cheese that got cunnilingus before getting put back into the fridge. But I also want to say a very sad farewell to another group of kids who won't be loved by their father, even more so now. Rava and the children. I don't want to call it a real shit show of the week, but it is going to be a shit show of the lifetime for those kids that already had an absent father. But I think we're heading down the path of more drug use and less the dada.
Good one. Good one.
Great choices, everyone. Anthony, since you went last this round, you get to go first for the Logan Roy Memorial Serious Person of the Week award. So who won this week?
To go into the unorthodox spirit of who I am and of the show and my last pick, I'm going with none other than Logan Roy himself from the grave, the
Whoa.
biggest winner, because his kid's fucked up yet again, and he's having a good old fucking time in the coffin
fucking
right
loved
now.
it. He
I
loved
can't believe
gosh.
how many W's fucking Logan's picked up from the grave this year.
Yeah, dude, biggest huge wins like that. No one would have been happier.
from his fucking $5 million mausoleum, which, as we know, was a great
Yeah.
deal.
He's fucking breakdancing in there right now.
Oh, well, my Logan Roy Memorial Serious Person Fun Factory at the OK Corral this week is none other than the cum guzzle himself, Tom Wamsgam. Nothing really needs to be said. The man's played his part for 4 seasons now, played it right, took all the abuse, took Carl's vitriol in fucking episode 4 this season. You know, always plotting, always scheming, always doing whatever it took to reach the mountaintop, and all that. I don't even want to say hard work. All that sucking and fucking paid off, and he is now the new CEO of Waystar Royco, and just the puppet master with little puppet strings. But shout out to you, Tom Wamsgan, the best in the biz at sucking the biggest dick in the room.
And eating baby chickens.
That's it.
That's right. Well, my Logan Roy Memorial Serious Person of the Week award actually goes to Shiv, because while her future looks bleak, this week she was the one who made the power play and made things happen. So good on her. Benny?
My L to the OG, dude beat me to OG, and he playing Serious Person of the Week. Can I tie? I'm gonna give it a tie.
Sure.
It's your show, babe.
Jerry and Carolina.
Fuck you. I was going to
Jerry-
give Carolina an Ani Mensch.
Jerry got her payday, and it seems like Tom wants her around. And it seems like Hugo's on the chopping block, and Carolina's going to step up into the head of PR or public, whatever the hell they did, publicity, marketing. I don't fucking know. But hey, Carolina and Jerry, I stand, and I'm happy for you guys, and you are my Logan Memorial Serious Person of the Week.
I have an honorable mention because none of you guys picked him, and I was hoping you would.
Go ahead.
Greg.
Please.
Greg.
Greg.
the
Right.
fucking stealth boy, fucking coming in and coming out on top, doing all the dirty
Craig
work.
and Matson, and possibly even you could have made a case for Oscar.
Yeah.
Dude, just
Oscar.
riding that wave.
And maybe you could even make the case for Carl and Frank about to get their golden parachutes.
Yep. Carl's gonna be on that
Greek
Greek island
island.
before you know
Oh
it.
my God, love it.
Just singing his fucking ass off with a Corona.
I think I have a quick question before we fully wrap up. Do you think that there will be any further entertainment out of this universe, or is this it,
I hope this is it.
Robbie?
Yeah, I yeah, I agree. I hope this is it.
Anthony?
I could see them potentially doing a movie or something, but I hope that this is it. I mean, I'll be all in if it happens, but I'm good with where it's at. Go ahead, Ant.
I don't feel like it's gonna happen. Just that last shot was like enough for me to be like, I see what you guys are doing here. And I think that was it. That was their final mark.
Yeah,
What
I
do you
think
think, Ryan?
if they do anything with any of the major characters, I think that'll be if that would not be a good idea. Just
Except for
milking the
Tom.
franchise. Except for what?
Except for Tom.
Yeah, Tom. Okay, fine, Tom. But maybe they go like a Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul route where it's like some minor character or something like that. Maybe that's like the new blueprint. I don't know, but
If it
I don't know.
ain't Carl, the cable god of
That's
the
what I'm
90s,
saying, Carl.
1990s.
miss me
Yeah.
with it.
Give me Carl
I
in
don't
the
want to see
90s
it.
making moves.
Carl in the 90s, fucking Cable King, fucking his way all over Manhattan, eating at Michelin star restaurants, and just shitting all over fucking Frank for fucking 5 seasons.
Love it. So is that it? Anything else?
That's it.
We have next week. We have our award show, right? Is that what we're gonna do like we did with Game of Thrones?
Award show, series wrap up, season wrap up.
Get
So
us
if anybody
your
has
fucking
any
emails.
awards, yeah, if any emails, any awards that they want to contribute to or write in, we're all ears. Any guest appearances, let us know, please. The more the merrier. It's gonna be a fucking robust episode.
I just love the way you put that. A robust episode.
Tune in next week.
Tune in next week for our robust episode. So yeah, send us emails, texts. Let us know if you want to join, whatever. Speaking of joining, Anthony, thanks for coming on and looking sharp as fuck and making us.
Love it.
I mean, you make me feel like shit right now, but you look fantastic.
$1,000,000.
I
Million,
appreciate it, guys.
a billion.
Being the off the cuff shit talker, saying shit I don't mean all the time. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys having me. It's always fun. I love the insights. I love Let the Boys Watch. I love Going Gray. I love this series. Sweetheart, have me here anytime you want, all right?
Sweetheart, you're on speed dial every day of the week.
And
But
make sure you
thank
check.
you.
Yeah, make sure you check out Benny and Anthony as well as their buddy Steve on Unofficial Intelligence. And like Anthony said, check out Robbie and me on Going Gray. Send us an email, rate, review, follow us. I don't got anything else to say. Anyone else?
Don't fucking pass a story without voting when there's a fucking poll up, all right?
If you see a fucking story,
because
You
The
vote.
Sopranos might lose out to a fucking worse theme song. Unbelievable.
please. Please.
People spoke. Robbie, tell them good night. I'm done with you fucks.
Good night, Kendall. You ain't got the vote, son.
I'm a little teapot. Fuck off.